what I want to do is talk a little bit about, get you thinking about next week. Why is next week big? A couple reasons. You're finishing up the month of July, and you kick off the month of August. And the first 72 hours of August, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, are very, very instrumental in having that foundation to make money. And I don't know about you, but everybody here that really wants to make a lot of money in August, type in yes. Type in yes if you really want to make it. Yes, way to go, Dinosaur. You see what he found an account he had NVIDIA in, which is my stock of the year, and he's smiling from ear to ear. He's a long-term student of ours. But does everybody get my point, what I'm trying to tell you? I'm going to be more active with you as we go forward, because this is the time to be active. And I want everybody here to maximize the opportunity. And that's my goal, to maximize that. In fact, I was telling Adam was asking me, he said, I know she's spending a lot of time using the algorithms and stuff. I said, Adam, there's not enough hours in a day to get the key information. That's why I got the roadmap and MTI, and I've started programming with the team, programming these different times of day, okay? And because of that, it sets up a beautiful situation, because now I can see a lot more. And, I've been getting up for years. Adam knows this to be true. I've been getting up at that time every morning. I created T-Buzz Talk and Trade to do that. And when I did, the idea was I wanted to be able to reach out and touch you at any time that I was up looking at the market. And I think we've done a fairly decent job. I've developed a SQQQ trade early in the morning that people are taking. I get reports all the time. Hey, Tom, I start off my day green. We used to call it green circle country, okay? But I am driven to help you, but you got to listen, and you got to have the tools. You got to have the MTI and roadmap to really maximize everything I say. But you could just ride my sales at first until you learn this stuff. But you got to learn this stuff. There's no easy road to success. Now, past performance is not indicative of future results. And we know that, right? Okay, we know that. In my opinion, we end one month, we start another opportunity on August 1st, Friday. You have the unemployment report kicking off the month. I think people are going to be excited. My next week's schedule, I want you to notice there's a common thread there. Can you guess what the common thread is, the time I'm going to be with you each and every day? What's the common thread? $11 o'clock, right. I'm going to be with you at 11 o'clock every day. So here's what happens if you don't show. You're not going to make any money. I'm not coming just to say, hey, it's a beautiful day out there. I'm going to structure this to give you about 5 key, what I call insights each day. Okay. Now, these 5 things that you should focus on next week, right now. And I use it just where you'll know I got the magic 5. Has anybody figured out my lucky numbers 5? Has anybody figured that out? I'm just curious. Everything with me is 5. 5 things, 5 magic 5. You ever figured that out? Okay, I just want to tell you. All right, the Federal Reserve Bank meets next week. Here's what I expect. I expect him to soften his tone when he has his press conference. If he comes across with a soft tone like I expect, what is the market going to do? Just a common sense question. If he comes across with a soft tone about interest rates, what do you think the market's going to do? It's going to go higher, right? Okay. So I'm playing the market. I'm using the dips, and I'm buying the breakouts. I'm playing the market because the odds are favoring higher prices. Okay. I just got to tell you that's what they're favoring. That's why I'm talking about the upside. And people with me in 2022, when it's going down, I'll do the same thing. I'll play it down. We have a JOLTS report, a private payrolls. Consumer confidence is going to be important to watch. The US and Eurozone GDP. Speaking of that, there could be a trade deal announced Sunday night or Monday, okay? It was teed up today at a press conference. It could be, okay? At Sunday night. Core inflation, we'll talk about that. The Chinese PMIs, these reports specifically shift market expectations for growth, inflation, interest rates, trajectories. Earnings, here they are. Microsoft and Meta. Microsoft and Meta are coming out with earnings. Apple's coming out with earnings. Apple has been trading as if they got a special announcement, I'll tell you that. And Amazon's blowing and going. Amazon's blowing and going. Hey, let me ask you a question before I go any further. Does anybody know how to play with options? Say if Amazon at its current price is, is up here and it's moving and all that. Does anybody know how to play a long-term option on Amazon? Anybody know how to do that? Okay, we won't do it Friday, but the week after next, I will show you how to do that. And because Amazon might be one of those stocks we want to do it for, maybe with like a December expiration, okay? I'm just telling you, that's in my back of my mind. No, a long call. It'll be a long call, Carol. Long call. There's my star girl, Carol. I talked to a customer today. I told Catherine I'd give her a call. Still got to call Ernie. I told him, but I was talking to Catherine today, and I was telling her about your story, Carol, about how exciting it was for you to open up the high yield to me and how I got into the weekly. So again, thank you, Carol. And Fred's here. I don't know if Fred's here or not. Fred got me on that SPX. That's why we're going to dance with that XPX next. We're going to show you how to set it up. Yep. The tariff, you'll notice that the degree the tariff and tariff developments are around, it's getting less and less. Have y'all figured that out? So they come out in April, they're all over the board. They're getting tighter, tighter, and tighter. Have y'all noticed that? Okay. Have y'all noticed that? Hey, Catherine's here. I want you to meet Carol. Y'all would get along. Carol's a nice person. Here's Jennifer. Boy, I'm getting a lot of ladies. Jennifer's good too. Anyway, let's the trade and trade tariffs are getting smaller effect, okay? Market breadth and technical setups. Okay. Despite record highs in S&P 500 NASDAQ, momentum is slowing breadth is there. They always tell you that, and it continues to make highs. That is really just Wall Street talking, okay? You know what tells me the market's going higher? Knowing the reference bars in the time of day. That's what tells me. That's what I go to for my advice, the reference bars. Does everybody here have our copy of our white papers? You ought to have a copy of the white papers. We're constantly adding and editing that to make it even better and better. You ought to have that that ought to be sitting near your desk to review. Okay? Really good stuff. Now, here is the 5 things that's going to probably start out the week. We'll update that on Monday morning. The market breadth and Wendy, he posted it in there. I hope you got it. Okay. Got it? Okay, she got it. Good. Thanks, Adam. Now, what I want to do is talk a little bit about my strategy. I'm having different parts of the market program. The first one was Genesis, okay, because it's a key time in the middle of the day. The next one I worked on, I call it Sunrise, and Sunrise is one that takes care of the early morning. Because a lot of people, like Carol, for example, I'm using Carol, I hate to pick on her, but she lives in California. She's not going to get up at, let's see, she's not going to get up at 3 2 a.m. in the morning. She might, but I'm just saying. But she lives in California, but she's got to have the information no matter where you live. My goal is I'm going to program. We got Genesis at midday. We got sunrise early morning. And the idea is.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us.
Oh, hold on a second. But anyway, sunrise is, sunrise is going to give you a start to the day. And this is why I'm here on Saturday. I want you to listen to the streaming. I'll stay around and answer some questions at the end. Genesis, Wendy, is 11:30 to 12. That's when that bar is formed. But oh, by the way, I want to thank Patricia for joining in the Power program. Way to go. But let's listen to this, and then at the end, if you got any questions, me and Adam will try to answer them. But I want to listen to this just and polish this, make sure it's getting the true story out about sunrise. Take it away, Adam.
Got it.
We're here to talk about Tom's incredible sunrise signal, a new way to target $250, $500, or even $1,000 a day before lunch, all thanks to a signal that fires before the opening bell even rings. So you don't want to exit this browser. You want to stay with us because we're talking about important stuff here. And one of those things that we go over every time we start one of these is that the profits and performance shown are not typical. We make no future earnings claims. You can always lose money in the markets. The trades expressed are from historical back-tested data in order to demonstrate the potential of the system. The average return per trade, winners and losers included, was 11.91 per trade, 11.91% per trade. And every example you're going to see today is based on a $2,000 starting stake, unless we say otherwise. So if you want more information, you can go to the DTI homepage. In other words, what we're saying is there are going to be losers in trading. There's no black box miracle system that prints out winning trades automatically. The whole purpose of what Tom does and all his work with traders is to give folks an edge in the markets, which you do very well, Tom. But if you can't handle a losing trade, then you really shouldn't be trading with real money, because losses in trading have occurred and will occur in the future. If you don't know me, I am Stephen Ground, and I am excited to be here today. We've got a question for you. What if there was a way to target $250, $500, or even $1,000 each day, all thanks to one signal that fires before the opening bell rings? I'm talking about a way to target a couple $100 a day or more while most folks are still stuck in traffic on the way to their boring day jobs. Now, for some of you tuning in, that might sound far-fetched, but as you'll soon see, according to the trading legend joining me today, it's now possible thanks to one of the most powerful, overlooked signals in the market. For example, look what his study shows could have happened back on May 21st. While most people were dreading the start of the workday, we've all had that feeling, thanks to a little-known signal on CoreWeave that took place before the opening bell. Anyone could have clicked a few buttons to jump in right after the markets opened and watched as the stock exploded higher all day long, handing over a $508 payout in just a few hours. Pretty impressive, Tom. Then the next day, same exact thing. While most folks were still swapping stories at the water cooler, trying to pass time at the day job, anyone who would have caught the sunrise signal on Tesla, which fired before the markets opened, could have placed a quick trade right after the opening bell. And when things worked out, watched a cool $473 hit in their account before the end of the day. And then, just a few days later, same thing. While most folks were stuck in boring meetings during the day, anyone could have seen one quick signal on NVIDIA, again, firing in the morning before the opening bell, and then placed the trade while they were out for a morning walk, maybe grabbing coffee, and cashed in with $491 when it was all said and done. It's all thanks to this one incredible, powerful signal that fires each morning at 8 a.m. Eastern that we're going to break down for you here today. My guest, Tom, calls it the sunrise signal. Love that name, Tom, because just by checking this one signal after the sun rises each and every morning, you can use it to target $250, $500, or even $1,000 or more before the end of the day. For example, let's look back at May 5th from his study. Here's the sunrise signal, lighting up like fireworks at 8 a.m. And as you'll soon see in just a moment, that was a surefire sign that the stocks would trend higher later in the day. So all anyone had to do was click a few buttons after the opening bell to place a quick trade, and then come back later to see a quick 25% return, this time on MU. Now, let's say someone had put $2,000 into that trade. Again, that's the stake we're going to be talking about with every example from here on out, unless we say otherwise. That would have been enough to pay out a handsome $500, all by checking one signal before the opening bell. They didn't have to wake up at the crack of dawn, which is good because I'm no good at that, Tom. I know you are. They didn't have to stare at stock charts. They just needed to check one quick signal before the opening bell, wait a few minutes, and then place a trade. That's it. And the beautiful thing is, while we almost always get an opportunity each day, some days we get more. Like that very same day, May 5th, we were just talking about, the sunrise signal picked up on not one, not two, but three high-powered entries for us. The first one on that Micron example I just showed you, $500. The second one on GLD, one of the hottest assets in the world right now, which could have paid out $457 that day. And then the third one on QQQ, which could have paid folks $404 before dinner. None of these on crazy penny stocks or anything that's hard to trade, all told from that one day following the sunrise signal, the signal that fires before the markets ever open. Anyone could have collected $1,362 with a few clicks of the button. Now, for most folks, that's like adding an extra paycheck with just a few minutes work, all before your morning coffee gets cold. Now, as great as that is, we've only really scratched the surface on what this sunrise signal is capable of, which is why we have the man here next to me. Because before the end of this briefing, he's going to reveal the real opening bell that most traders don't know about, how anyone can spot the sunrise signal before the markets open, the 30-minute no man's land that is killing your profit right now, probably every day you trade, the simple double confirmation step to help protect against market reversals, and how we've made it quicker than ever to follow along by automating the whole thing, as so much more. Tom, I know your team put a lot of work into that. But first, I want to properly introduce today's legendary guest and the mastermind behind these groundbreaking sunrise signals. I know a lot of you know him, but the man behind this breakthrough began his career during the 1970s. In 1992, he was one of only 50 professionals to be handpicked by the CME to receive his very own Globex terminal. And he even helped manage a firm so successfully that it was eventually bought out by the $7.9 trillion institution, Morgan Stanley. But this man's Wall Street legacy pales in comparison to what he's delivered for his students since founding DTI back in 1996. Just hear some of the very best stories from some of his top students who have followed his work. Jim P. wrote in to tell us he made a total of $2,060, a great way to start the month. Please pass along my thanks to Tom. And then there's Ken, who said, I love its simplicity, a great tool to trade, picked up an extra $3,200 today. And I love Manny O's story. He says, just to let you know that I've had my fifth win in trading, a 135.3% ROI. You're the greatest and the most patient with me, Tom. I know those are some of the best stories from students following along with none other than trading legend Tom Busby. You've seen him on CNBC, CNN, Bloomberg. You may have read his books. If you haven't, you certainly should. The Markets Never Sleep, Trade to Win, and Winning the Day Trading Game, which is a lot of what we're going to talk about here. The markets never sleep. And I'm very excited for you to be here today, Tom. So thank you. Can you tell us more about the sunrise signal and how you discovered it?
I'm excited and I'd love to. As you mentioned, I built my career on trading the 24-hour markets. And the 24-hour markets are the key to everything you'll see today. In fact, the details I'll share with you today are even so important that I even published a whole book on it, The Markets Never Sleep.
Great book.
You see, most people assume the trading day starts at 9:30 when the opening bell rings. The networks love to run their shows around it. They throw a big party for it every day. But if you're only focused on what happens after the opening bell, you're actually missing the most important signal in the entire market. Because the truth is, Wall Street's day doesn't start at 9:30 like most people assume. It starts much earlier, at 8 o'clock a.m. As soon as they fire on their computer, setting their first trades of the day, they send a signal that can help us tell the direction for the rest of the day. That's powerful. And by following that signal, which hits every morning at 8 o'clock, we're able to hop in on some of their biggest bets once the markets open. They ride it higher all day long, For example, look what happened in NVIDIA back on May the 13th. I love it. On May the 13th, right at 8, Wall Street fired off the sunrise signal. And I'll explain soon, this meant that NVIDIA had a darn good shot to soar higher all day long. So, Stephen, had you set a basic trade, you'd walked away with a quick $508 on NVIDIA that day.
That's pretty awesome.
Let's see it again, this time on Micron back in April. Now, back in April, the headlines were calling for economic doom, as usual, but that really didn't matter because once again, on April 24th, go check the date, sunrise signal fired at 8. No, so anyone could have simply ignored the forecasters, which is not bad advice, and taken 2 minutes or less to set a quick trade, knowing that MU was likely to head higher all day long. And anyone who did that could have turned and banked $491 with just a few clicks of the button. So each day, hundreds of Wall Street traders, pits, and countless algorithms come online right at 8. Just look at this chart on average volume in the early morning. There it is. As you can see, there's very little activity before 8. But then look what happens. A massive volume spike right at 8 o'clock as Wall Street wakes up. Then when Wall Street places its bets on where stocks are going to go for the rest of the day, before most people are even paying attention. Now, of course, you don't have to be active at 8 to reap the rewards from the early birds on Wall Street. You just have to watch the sunrise signal. Remember that name, then place a trade right after the opening bell to help piggyback on the stocks they most likely are going to send higher for the rest of the day. For example, look back on April 24th. This one on Palantir.
Great stock.
Now, back in April, we were in the midst of tariff chaos, and the markets had whipsawed like crazy the day before. VIX was still highly elevated, making it very difficult to predict where stocks would move next unless you knew about that sunrise signal. Because that morning, while the markets were quiet, Palantir jumped like crazy at 8 o'clock. There's a signal, surefire sign that Wall Street was waking up, starting their trading day. And when it did, the first thing they wanted to do was pile into this stock. Then our sunrise signal telling us that the stock was primed to go higher all day long once the confirmation came, and that's exactly what happened. Look at that. And anyone who jumped on sunrise signal when the markets opened could have made a quick $456 in a few hours. You see, Wall Street loves getting in early on some of their favorite stocks well before the opening bell rings. That's because by starting their day at 8, they can trade after they've had a chance to process all the overnight news, while the European trade desks are still open, and before any major economic news drops at 8:30 in the morning. And when Wall Street starts buying a stock in the pre-market, you'll often see that stock run higher all day long. Meaning anyone who can spot the sunrise signal in real time can potentially ride those waves higher for a shot at quick payouts. Like with the NVIDIA example from May the 27th. That was the first day back from Memorial Day weekend that had left the markets reeling. With more tariff fears on deck, how could anyone be confident that the market would open higher the following week? By checking the sunrise signal, of course. Volume started jumping on NVIDIA at 8, just like we'd think, and the sunrise signal was confirmed. The stock was ready to move higher. Then shortly after the markets opened, NVIDIA shot higher just as the sunrise signal predicted, paying out a nice $474 to anyone who followed along.
Tom, that's really impressive. Incredible stuff you're showing us here, because on just those 2 sunrise signals, the last 2 you covered, any trader could have picked up an extra $930 in just 2 trades. Not bad. Someone who'd been twice as confident could have scored $1,860 before the weekend hit. Tom, that's enough to help folks finally spend the weekend how they want to. Maybe cover the green fees almost anywhere you want to go, or even a joyride for 2 in the car of your dreams. Really doesn't matter how anyone spends the money. What matters is that folks could have had that flexibility, and it's all thanks to the sunrise signal. And Tom, you're honestly no stranger to showing folks these kinds of returns. Just hear some of these top stories from students in your services. Laura P., she's been working with you for years. I've met Laura. She's great. Listening to Tom puts money in your pocket, even on those crazy days. Yesterday had 9 trades, all winners, $2,200 profit.
That's a good day.
That's a real good day. And then there's Denise W., who wrote, so far I've had only winning trades, but more important to me is how much I learn every time. You're big on education.
Absolutely.
And then here's Bruce L., who put it simply, when I follow you, Tom, I make money.
That says enough, doesn't it?
Tom's committed to helping you all the way through the trade. But Tom, this sunrise signal, it's something brand new that even Laura, Denise, and Bruce are going to be amazed by. So tell us, can we make money on just any stock that Wall Street moves higher at 8 a.m.?
Of course not, Stephen. If it was that easy, everybody would be making a killing off this sunrise signal already. Let me remind folks right now, there's no system that's perfect. We have seen some great success in our research, but losses can and will happen. That's just part of the trading game. Fortunately, you don't have to guess at the top stocks of the day. You just have to know what to look for. This is where the education happens, and more importantly, when to look for it. Let's talk about the opening bell again. When the major players own 8 a.m. and at 9:30, the floodgates open for everybody across the entire market. Not only are the vast majority of retail traders lining up to finally react to overnight news, there's a flood of trades that made overnight that are finally processing at 9:30, that first 10 minutes, 20 minutes of the day. That surge creates the biggest volume spike of the entire day and dwarfs the volume at 8. But don't worry, we got a solution. Take a look at this chart. Do you see that spike after the opening bell?
I mean, it's huge. You can see it.
That's what happens right after the market opens. So you tell people don't get in right then. And it can ruin you if you're not careful. I call it that 30 minutes of no man's land. It used to be called amateur hour. Because if you step into it, you're likely to get hurt bad. You can see in the second chart, that orange line shows how much stock prices bounce in the first 30 minutes of the day. In over 40 years, I only found one way to navigate no man's land successfully. Stay out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because while Wall Street might be wading through the chaos, quietly adding to their positions, they started building at 8. There's no way of knowing when the opening bell hurricane is still raging. Fortunately, you don't have to wait long. Right after 10, the dust starts to settle and the clear pack leaders continue their charge higher. Look at one more time at this chart. Pay attention. Right at 10, the chaos drops off quickly. The initial flood of trading activity dies down, and we can quickly see which positions from 8 are still trending higher. The ones that made it through the madness are still going higher, or the ones that give us a shot to target $500 or more before lunch. For example, take a look at another example, NVIDIA, this one from May the 6th. As always, we saw a pre-market volume spike right at 8 o'clock, and the sunrise signal showed NVIDIA moving higher right before the opening bell. The biggest volume spike of the day, NVIDIA sank during the chaos. Traders jumped in right at the opening bell, would have already been selling out and running for the hills.
Yeah.
But if you'd waited half an hour, time-wise, and look how quickly the volume drops back down to normal levels, and almost as soon as that happened, NVIDIA started moving back up to the normal reaction, and that was a surefire sign that NVIDIA was a top stock for the day and was ready to soar. And that's exactly what happened the rest of the day. Anyone who'd seen the sunrise signal, waited for the chaos to die down, and watched the stock start to climb at 10, could have snagged another $500 on NVIDIA before quitting time.
That's impressive.
Simply by waiting till after the opening bell and trading the stocks that passed the test at 8 and 10. We're able to set ourselves up to target $500 or more, then slam the laptop shut if we want to, like with Palantir on May the 30th. Now, you probably know it's been a wild year for Palantir stock, but late May was a bit of a rough patch. As the end of the month approached, Palantir suffered 3 straight losses, and the MACD had crossed strongly into bear territory. To be naked-eyed, didn't seem like a good day to go all in on this tech stock, unless you knew about the sunrise signal. In the early morning, the markets were dead quiet until right at 8 when the volume started climbing fast, and sunrise signal fired right there what we expected to do. more than enough to tell us that Wall Street had shaken off the bad news and were bullish for Palantir on that day. But if you jumped in right at open, that would have been a mistake. Volume spiked just as we think would happen as the bell chimed, sending stocks into a tailspin for the first 30 minutes. And over the same time frame, volume cooled down, came back to normal. Then 10 o'clock rolled around. It was clear Palantir was ready to rip. And you could have had high confidence that the stock would jump from there. And sure did, absolutely soaring over the next 60 minutes. Look at that. That's what you want to catch. And anyone who jumped in at the right time could have scored $500 on Palantir in just over, a little over an hour.
Wow.
Now, Stephen, I know our audience is sharp as a tack, but let me run through just one more quick example to show you exactly how powerful this sunrise signal is.
Please.
So let's look at AMD on May the 23rd. And there AMD had a rough start in 2025, sinking all year long and then getting hammered during the tariff panic. In fact, that very morning, NASDAQ published an article encouraging traders not to panic yet, despite an awful start to the year. But that didn't start quite the storm in the early hours of the market until you guessed it. You got the time, 8 o'clock. Volume spiked immediately at 8, sent AMD in reverse. A clear sunrise signal projecting the stock could move higher all day long. Anyone who'd seen it would have ignored the rest of the pre-market movement. Turned out when it continued to chop around in no man's land, watched at 10 for the crystal clear sign that Wall Street was back in charge. They rode that stock higher all day long. Then this time collecting a quick $508 in the process.
Tom, that is an incredible example. I mean, that's so clear on the chart, every step you're talking about. And if my math is correct, those 3 trades you just showed us could have added up to about $1,508 in added cash for folks. And Tom, each of those trades could have cashed in before lunchtime, which is really incredible. Now, I'm impressed, but of course, I'm not surprised that you're once again showing your traders how to seize the chance for some quick cash from the stock market. You've made a career doing just that. Just hear some stories from Tom's most successful students in his other flagship programs. You've got Carlos G. from Texas, great guy. Good morning, Tom. 1 week ago, I bought a 25-cent option, and the next day I closed it at 125.
Do that once a week, and it solves a lot of problems.
That sure does. That was 5 times my original investment, a lot of money very quickly. Then there's Bobby. He says the program's amazing. He's up over $2,000 just today. Like you said, that's a really good day. Or how about Emmanuel from New Mexico? You're a great teacher. I made around $2,200 from one trade. Keep up the good work. Tom, as much as I love those stories, I can't wait to hear from traders who follow your sunrise signals from now on. Heck, I'm almost tempted to quit my day job and focus on these signals each and every day.
Well, Stephen, I'm flattered because these sunrise signals really can be a game changer, and you got to have it because I should be clear. If you have a day job, don't quit it.
Okay.
Of course, there's nothing guaranteed with these sunrise signals. You should never risk more than you can afford to lose. And like with any other strategy, there have been smaller wins and those that didn't work out along the way. But more importantly, you don't have to quit your day job to follow these signals because as we've seen time and time again, you only need a few minutes, a couple at key times during the day to follow the sunrise signal.
That's a really good point, Tom, and I'm sure a few folks will be relieved to hear I'm not giving up on my day job just yet. But I have to ask, what's stopping folks at home from following the sunrise signal as soon as the markets open again?
Honestly, Stephen, there's nothing stopping folks from jumping in on the next sunrise signal. In fact, they could set their alarm for 8 a.m. each day and get to work looking for the best opportunities. But think about it. If you just wanted to track the S&P 500, that's 500 stocks, you'd have to monitor it at 8 o'clock every morning. Think about the work there. And then again at 10.
Yeah, that's a bunch.
Meaning you'd be spending hours in front of your computer that could have been spent sleeping in, doing the crossword, or even taking a morning joyride. With that much to do, you might have missed winners that our research team found on stocks like NVIDIA in April, QQQ 500 in May, 508 in MU in June. And I can't blame you. I might not even seen them either if I was on my own. But fortunately, I have a whole team of experts who help me do this. The DTI team has over a century of combined experience in the markets. With the powerful software, with our expert team, we're able to code a sunrise algo specifically designed to track these opportunities. And not just manpower, we spent over $500,000 to build a custom software that helps us track these sunrise signals,
Wow, that's a big investment.
turning hours of grueling, mind-numbing work each morning in just a few clicks of a button. Each morning, Algo scans the market for sunrise signals right at 8:10. That means we already know that stocks were set to trade before the opening bell, which ones are teed up. Stronger signals get posted to a private Telegram channel with our members. There's no need to wake up early because the fun really begins at 10 o'clock. That's when Algo picked the best of the best stocks that survived the opening bell chaos and are still trending higher. Like our study shows happened with CoreWeave back on May the 2nd. Traders could have spotted the sunrise signal or just read the update in our Telegram channel. You know the name now. And even though the market's open hot that day, sunrise signal shows there's still a lot of gas left in the tank. Our readers would have had only to check the alert shortly after 10.
Look at that.
There it is, identified. Still climb almost 5% from there. That's big money. $483 in a short period of time. Nobody had to dig through 500 stocks. Nobody had to open a ton of charts. It was teed up right for you and just wait for that sunrise signal and place the trade. They could have done it again on May the 27th because that day the sunrise signal fired on Tesla. By 10, it was clear the momentum wasn't stopping, but our readers wouldn't have had to be studying charts. They could have waited for the alert at 10. Tesla identified. Tesla soared all day. And anyone who followed the alert could have turned $400.92 richer by the end of the day.
Tom, I mean, I'm blown away. I know for a fact you've let a very small group of your top students beta test that sunrise algo already. In fact, a few of your top students have already sent in love letters to your team. Bob told us, love the Sunrise Trade service. It gives me the biggest bang for my buck of any service out there. And then I love T, who said, it's like getting a personal meeting with Tom early in the morning. The sunrise signal and a cup of coffee are all I need to start my day. And Tom, with everything you've shown us today, it's no surprise your traders love it. But last I heard, the sunrise signal was a closed and reserved beta for only your elite members. So I guess I have to ask, how long do the rest of us have to wait?
Well, Stephen, I got good news about that. First, I want to say something. I think the sunrise signal has always been important throughout my entire career. It's never been more important than it is right now. You probably don't need me to tell you that the markets now are driven by news more than ever. But in fact, according to the Financial Times, automated trading systems now dominate market volume with news reading algos reacting to headlines in as little as 300 microseconds.
Yeah, I can't compete with that.
But when did these algos fire on? Right at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you're not paying attention to the sunrise signal right now, you obviously don't have the prayer keeping up with Wall Street, let alone the algos that power them.
That makes sense.
But simply by following this one signal each morning, keep it simple, you'll be miles ahead of the average Joes and ready to target 250, 500, even 1,000 before the opening bell even rings. Just like I'm going to show my traders how to do every day. And for that reason, I'm going to do something I didn't expect to happen for months yet. Because you're right, Stephen, the sunrise beta test is closed, and it was supposed to stay that way a lot longer. But over the last few weeks, we couldn't wait any longer. I had my team drop everything and focus on it, get ready for immediate release. And today, I'm happy to say we met our goal. We're able to open the doors months ahead of schedule, right in time with this market. So I'm thrilled to invite 100 of our listeners today to join me inside this brand new trading service, Sunrise Signals.
Love it.
The only algorithm monitoring the sunrise signal designed to help traders target $250, 500, even 1,000 or more before lunch, and keeping it simple and straightforward. Each and every trade alert is generated in real time, sent directly to our readers wherever they are, whatever they're doing. Because the moment you join us today, you'll be invited to jump inside our exclusive members-only Telegram channel. Gotta love Telegram.
Absolutely.
You'll never have to search for alerts. It's right there in front of you. You never have to dig through spam email to find the latest trade alert. And each day you'll get the full sunrise experience right inside the Telegram channel. It all starts at 8 with the sunrise signal. Each morning our algorithm will go through its deal will send you a list of stocks firing on that morning. You won't have to lift a finger. Just scan the list anytime before 10. You have the hottest trends in front of you, top opportunities, which if you were to come back, handy back on June the 11th, look at this. That morning, Algo told us to go long on Palantir. Look at the price. It's not just for a day, it lasts. Anyone who followed the process, placed a quick trade at after 10, could have scored big on that $484 winner on options on that
That's
day.
impressive.
But you wouldn't have had to guess at 10 about whether Palantir was a good trade, because each morning shortly after 10, our super-powered Algo runs another scan, and only the cream of the crop that meet our ideal entry criteria make the cut. When they do, we send out the live entry alert directly to you on the go, giving you the entry price, the profit target, and stop loss, even information for selecting the options, right in the palm of your hands. It can't get simpler than that.
Cannot.
Just like what would have happened the very next day, the alert would come to your phone with explicit instructions on exactly what to do. You have the ticker. You have the entry price, your options instructions, your target, your stop loss, all the information you need and the rules of how long to hold the trade. It's all in there, which would have made following the instructions on MU a piece of cake. So you could have tapped a few buttons when the alert came to your phone at 10, spent your time ever how you wanted to. Maybe invite some friends out for a casual breakfast, or taking the dogs out for a quick stroll, or even played a few rounds of tennis, only to come back a few hours later when things worked out, find a nice big winner on MU. $476 in just a few hours.
Wow, Tom, that's impressive stuff. I mean, if someone had put just $5,000 into each of those two trades, which happened back-to-back days, they'd be sitting on $2,401 in profit with just a few minutes of work. But
Don't forget about the $1.
absolutely. But Tom, I have to ask, some of these are quick-moving trades you've just showed us. So wouldn't you need to be glued to your phone to close them as winners?
Absolutely not, Stephen, because there's a little trick you can do to make sure that when they work out, these trades close automatically without breaking a sweat or even looking at your phone. I call it the profit lock technique, and it's a busy trader's absolute best friend, because with just a few quick steps, anytime you place the trade, you can have a peace of mind knowing that the stock hits the target, your gains will be locked in. And as a member, you'll unlock a free PDF telling you exactly how to use the profit lock on every trade.
Tom, I've actually used the profit lock a few times myself. It's saved me more than once. I'm a busy guy. I'm sure our audience are busy too. I've won trades while I was in long business meetings, one time watching a soccer game, even one time while I was driving home in a thunderstorm. Definitely can't look at your phone then. Folks are going to love that. But let me ask you another question. Do I need to be some sort of options expert to get the most out of Sunrise Signals?
Stephen, that's a great question, but the absolute answer is no, you do not. Sunrise Signals is a fantastic program for beginners or experienced traders alike. Of course, you can always trade the underlying stock if you prefer, but if you're ready to start your options trading journey, we got you covered there. Because the team at DTI has built what I believe is the ultimate education course on options. It's called Options Made Simple, combining over 100 years of experience and expertise with every option strategy under the sun. Our team created this condensed video course to take you from a rookie level to a veteran in no time. It's already waiting inside your members area as soon as you join. But Stephen, I'm not stopping there either. I'll also be hosting a brand new live masterclass on the Sunrise Signal. And each and every student who joins Sunrise Signals can count on this. You'll be invited to join us absolutely free. We'll cover the origins of the Sunrise Signal, how you can find it on your own if you want to, how to place the trades, how to follow everything going on in Telegram, and so much more. Simple, straightforward. Think of it like your live blueprint on getting the most out of your new membership.
Well, Tom, I know you've charged $497 or more for classes like that in the past, and they've been worth every penny. You are an education guru. You are a mastermind, in my opinion, and your top stories from students in the past who have attended your classes agree. Barbara P. wrote in to say, Your training this morning was extremely helpful. Thank you for all your time and teaching and training. Very much appreciated.
She's so nice and always smiling because I know she's making money.
Paulie shouted you out too, saying, thank you, T-Buzz. This is great training that allows me to stay focused on the market targets. And then there's Oscar. He said, the train and trade sessions you've been having have been priceless, and the education presented is worth the time and gold. Thank you for all the hard work you've put into providing that education for us, Tom. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'd bet the Sunrise Masterclass will be more than worth the cost of admission of a loan. Speaking of which, though, I do have to ask you, what is this going to cost folks, Tom? I mean, just a moment ago, you showed us 2 trades that could have paid out $2,401 in a matter of days, but members are going to get access to every Sunrise signal the algorithm spots right inside the private Telegram channel, which could honestly add up to hundreds of alerts over a single year. So what is that going to cost? $5,000, $39.97?
Steve, I agree. Access to the Sunrise signal is worth a whole lot, but folks should breathe a little bit easier. Before I reveal today's price, though, there's one more big surprise I want to show people. A few years back, Roger Scott and I joined forces to teach folks the Daybreak Masterclass. At the time, we were focused on trading in the pre-market, and we offered a 4-week class at a rock-bottom price of $295. Now, to be clear, you won't need to trade in the pre-market to make the most out of the Sunrise signals. We'll be clear about that. But the techniques we taught in the Daybreak Masterclass can give you a huge advantage in understanding the Sunrise signal. Today, I want to offer you the recordings of that class for free as soon as you join the brand new service. They'll be yours to keep forever as a thank you for joining the Sunrise signals.
Tom, I wasn't expecting that. I honestly remember the Daybreak Masterclass. It was incredibly helpful to help me understand what makes stocks move before and even after the opening bell. I can't believe you're now including that for free for every new member of Sunrise Signals. So what is it going to cost, Tom? I can't even begin to think of a fair price to unlock all this.
Well, Stephen, you mentioned earlier that these 2 most recent trades from our study paid over $2,401 in a few days with a couple clicks of the button.
Yep.
So initially I thought $2,401 was a fair price for 1 year of Sunrise signals. After all, we're talking about the potential for alerts of over 100 opportunities each and every year, but I know times are tight right now, and I wouldn't want the price to be a barrier for anybody out there for entry. So I've cooked up 2 special bonuses I think everyone here is going to love. First, I want to cut the price nearly in half with a $1,000 founder's discount.
Wow.
Takes it down to $1,401. But I'm not stopping there. I'm proud of our track record we built. According to our study, Sunrise Signal triggered a winning trade alert 77.8% of the time. We're winning nearly 4 out of 5 trades. And with tight stop losses, our losers have averaged less than 30%. Each winner has been capable of delivering $250 for every $1,000 invested. Do the math. And with all that said, my favorite feature is how affordable these Sunrise signals are. Because in our study, the average trade has just cost $302 to enter.
Wow.
And that brings me to my last bonus. I want to go ahead and sponsor your very first trade with the Sunrise signal. Hopefully the first of many successful trades to come, meaning I'll immediately knock off another $302 off the price of your new membership and bring the total price down to $1,099 for your first year. So here we are. We're going to drop the link in about 20 seconds. It's time to choose. Keep running headlong in the teeth of the algorithms dominating Wall Street, or follow their trades each morning with our Sunrise signal. Now it's time to make a decision. Go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532 to talk to one of our experts. Go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532.
Tom, that's an incredible deal. I can't believe that you're letting folks get in for that, Chief. That's unbelievable.
Now, folks, that price got you excited? Let's knock their socks off. I'm offering one more insane discount limited to this webinar only. If you join immediately, I'll upgrade your membership for not 1 year, but for 2 years at no additional charge.
Wow.
That's right, an extra year on the house. I want you to take full advantage of 2 years with me with the Sunrise signal. But I have to stress, it's a limited time offer. Our first 100 people who join today will get the second year free. So click in the order form. It's not too late, and you missed out. I'm sorry. Go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532.
Sure about that deal, Tom?
Claim it
Now,
now.
my math, you're putting $100,000 on the line for folks who want to get in today. The first 100 folks. That's
Dude.
incredible. Now, I can't wait to hear stories from the first folks who join your Sunrise Signal. I'm sure some of them are doing it as we speak. Might hear stories like these from top students in your other flagship services. Wayne wrote in, there is no one in this business that does a better job of teaching the ins and outs of the market. Tom cares about your success. There's no one that does it better than T-Buzz.
Thank you, Wayne.
Kevin wrote in, he's been acquiring a T-Buzz since November. This week he was up $6,000. Tom and his teams will teach you how to not make mistakes and lose money. I love that. And then SP put it very simply. Tom Busby is one of the best timing traders I know and glad to be learning from him. And Tom, a lot of that timing has to do with this Sunrise Signal. Hopefully, several of our listeners here today will be the next to share a story like that.
Take the word hope out and do it, because it all starts with that decision.
I love it. And as you say, chicken, fish, or steak, right, Tom?
That's right.
Time to make your choice. So go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or give us a call, 904-706-3532. Our team is absolutely incredible. They're waiting to take your call, or just click the link in the chat. We love having folks join new programs, and the Sunrise Signal is incredible, Tom. I can't wait.
You know, it's the only way I know of to watch which stocks are going to move, when they move, and how to move, and then how to take advantage of it, most likely piling in right in the morning. So showing us the opportunities you might never see otherwise. Like I remember our example we gave on Palantir from May 30th. Look at it. At the end of the month approach, it suffered 3 straight losses. MACD turned bearish. The technicians were going that way. To the naked eye, it didn't seem like a good day to go all in on the tech stock unless you knew about the Sunrise Signal. In the early morning, the markets were dead quiet up until 8. Remember that time when the volume started climbing fast? And the Sunrise Signal fired right when we were expected to, more than enough to tell us that Wall Street had shaken off the bad news, and we're bullish on Palantir for that day. So if anyone had jumped in at the open, it had been a mistake. Got to wait. Volume spike just as we think it will at that time. And the stock's in the tailspin for the first 30 minutes, but over the same time frame, volume cooled down. It was clear by 10, Palantir was ready to go. And all we could have had that high confidence to take the trade on that stock, jump right in. Look what happened over the next 60 minutes.
Wow, absolutely.
Absolutely great. Hey, scored 500 on Palantir in just over a little over an hour.
Tom,
That's quick.
It's so incredible. It's so detailed. Every step of why this works, how it works, it makes so much sense. So I hope folks are going to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532 to be a part of this. Tom, I want to dive into the chat here in a minute. We've got a few folks here who I'm sure have asked some questions. But first, let me get some of the most common questions I expect we're going to hear. How much do I need to get started trading this?
Well, the answer is about $302 for each trade. I'd recommend having about $2,000 in capital dedicated to this service. That way you're not putting your whole account at risk while you're doing this.
Makes perfect sense. Well, do I need to be an options expert?
Absolutely not. You can trade the underlying stock if you want to, or you just access the training and members area where you can learn about trading options in no time.
I love that. You've got options.
We got it covered. I've been here before. Here before.
Now, how many trades are there going to be in a year?
It's hard to say exactly, but with the Sunrise potentially firing every day, I expect no less than 100 trades minimum over the course of the next year.
Incredible value. That's like less than $10 a trade at the price you're paying.
Really?
Well, and that's only if you count 1 year. If you get in for the 2 years, it's less than 5. Are we risking big 100% losses if the trade goes against us?
No, as nothing's guaranteed in the markets. DTIs always believe in cutting your losses when you're wrong. That's no exception. Our average loser from the studies average under 30% because we have tight stop rules with every trade.
I love that. I've been in plenty of trades. I hate to admit it next to a legend like you, but I've been in plenty of trades where I'm sitting there knowing I'm going to take a loser, not knowing when to cut.
Turned into a submarine that didn't rise, right?
Exactly. So that's a great rule of thumb. Does the Sunrise Signal work on any stock?
It really does. The reason We've seen a short list today. It's because we focused on strong trending stocks to begin with. That way, we're never fighting against the overall markets. It's another way we've helped build a high win rate on the Sunrise
I
signals.
love that. So it's kind of got a built-in watch list of the
Yep.
hottest stocks you're watching
Yep.
anyway. Is there any kind of guarantee with this service folks should know about?
And this is the beautiful part. Of course, our team will give you 14 days to join. Get in on Telegram. Take advantage of today's offer. Attend the trainings, the masterclass. If you're not fully satisfied, we'll refund every penny of your membership.
Okay, what if I want extra help?
Hey, we have an incredible customer service team, Customer Service Live, every Monday from 10 to 1. As a member, you'll get free access to these sessions to get hands-on help with all your membership questions.
That's 15 hours of live
Right.
assistance that our customer service team puts on every week. That's why we call them the best in the business, Tom. When's the first trade going to drop?
Hey, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, join the Sunrise Signal and make sure you don't miss out.
All right, folks, go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532. I'm sure we've got a few questions here in
And
the chat.
claim your special founders discounts today.
Absolutely. Only the first 100 get that discount, so want to make sure that we get those folks in there. Let's see if we've got questions here. I saw Dr. Janet said she fielded, Sunrise Signal is a separate channel. Yes, it is a separate channel, so you want to make sure you're over there once you're a member. All the instructions are in your members area. All right, let's see here. Tom, how long are these trades lasting? What's your rule of thumb?
Well, we looked at Palantir, it was 132. Go check it today if you see how powerful these are for not only short term, but long term. It identified when to get in Palantir, and today it's like, I think, $155 a share.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
pretty
rocket.
quick. That's pretty quick.
Intended.
That's why you got to know about the Sunrise Signal right there. That says it all.
Now, can you tell me, Tom, does this work theoretically to the downside too? Or are you
Yeah, of
able to
course it
trade
does.
both ways? So even if the markets went belly up somehow, I know you don't think that's going to happen this year,
I've been wrong before.
but well, I've never seen it, but I guess
Yeah.
it could happen. So
Hey,
it works.
Dr. Janet. She's one of our new students. She's loving it.
We love that. Thank you for being a part of it,
Yep.
Janet. We are very glad you're here and very glad you are in the program. Tom, what should folks do first? Do you think they should check out the options education or should they dive right into the Telegram channel? What would you?
Well, I would do both. I would go to the master class that we've done. We've done 3 or 4. We only promised one. We're at 4 now. I'm going to do some more because I like to show people after I get feedback from you what you need me to show you, because it's pretty clear to me. I've been trading for a long time. A lot of people are new.
Yeah.
So I hear questions say, hey, we'll spend a little time covering that. I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable when they make a trade. And so by doing it that way, I eliminate those obstacles to getting away you making money,
Tom,
which is why you do it, right?
That is right. I have been to your classes, both online and in person. I've talked to a lot of your students. I'm sure some of them are joining us right now. Hello, if I've met any of you before. I've seen, grown men break down in tears at how much it means to you to have your education. And I'm not being hyperbolic. They said it changed the life of them and their families, Tom, and I know that means a lot to you. You've
Absolutely.
got kids and grandkids you care a whole lot about too. Your education is second to none. I mean, the Sunrise Signals is incredible. What you've done.
Part of the 24-hour market. You
Yeah.
got to have this. You can do
Absolutely.
it manually or you can have the computer do it. That's
What-
what I love about it.
What you've done with this algorithm, you've poured $500,000, probably way more than that now.
Way more.
in-
I saw that amount and I thought, I'll take that discount.
Yeah. But as good as all that is, just the classes alone,
Right.
worth the price of admission, getting access to you. You always go above and beyond for your traders. Folks, if you've got more questions, drop them in the chat. We'd love to answer them. Tom, anything folks should know that we haven't covered about the Sunrise Signal or just anything you want to reinforce for folks?
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the time on your watch right now and know the following. If you get joined as early as tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we're going to be rocking and we're going to be rolling with Sunrise. Think about that. Don't miss out.
I love that. That's absolutely amazing. Well, folks, one more time, if you were one of the first 100 members to join from this link, which I don't have a way of checking, so we may have filled it already, but you'll know once you click the page. Go to dtitrader.com/sunrise. You're going to get your second year absolutely free. Tom, that's an unbelievable discount you're offering, folks. But if you want to join over the phone, we've got an incredible team that can answer all your questions. Just call 904-706-3532. I'm not going to shout our team members' names out because I'm going to forget some, but I know there's a couple, Kelly, Jeffrey, Caitlin, Sean, that you've been working with forever.
Sure.
Tom, and there's a bunch of great folks on the phone. One more time, folks, dtitrader.com/sunrise. Or don't be a masochist. Just click the link in the chat. That's a lot easier. Or call 904-706-3532. You'll talk to a real person. Thank you, Tom, for the work you put in to build this. Thank you for getting your team ready to have it for us today so folks could join. I'm really looking forward to being part of this, and I can't wait till 10 a.m. tomorrow, 10 a.m. to be more specific.
There you go.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thanks, David. Enjoyed it.
You have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you inside Sunrise Signals.
All right, folks, and I tell you what, you're gonna love the signal. It's like playing bingo. Anybody ever play bingo? And thanks, Edwin, for joining us. I think you'll love it. And we just have to be smart, and that's what we're gonna do. Thanks again, and we'll see you at the next stop, which will be Sunday night at 8. See you there. All right.
For those of y'all that are still around, I'm going to go ahead and play a video of Tom talking about his T-Buzz weekly trade letter. It's $9.99 for a full year. So it gives you a start to the week. 1 second and I'll get it going. But it basically lays out the trading week for you. 1 second. There we go.
Trading. In fact, read the disclaimer, but past performance is not indicative of future results. In my opinion, I think that the market is a very tough game to play, so you got to have a good plan. And what I have found out, by planning out my strategies, you do a lot better. So have some organization to whatever you do. Remember, you worked hard for that money. Make sure that when you put that money at risk, you really think it out. And I've been doing this for 40 years, and I wish somebody would have told me that. What I created here is something really special. If you know me or follow what I do, I always like to watch Mondays. Mondays tell me really how that week's going to go. I can see certain tickers, the ones that are leading, the ones that are falling. And what I found out by using those numbers from Monday, okay, which is really piggybacking off what I do Sunday night for planning, I can really pinpoint where the opportunities are. So I've created a weekly trade letter, and it's a beta version. So it's have some changes along the way, and you could be part of that foundation, giving me ideas that you might want to see some other stuff. But the idea is to help grow your account by giving you the information I'm using to make decisions throughout the week. Now, each week, the trade letter will deliver an actual breakdown of the market right to your inbox, giving you insight you need to plan smart, confident trades to stay ahead of the game. I have a broad market update where I cut through all the noise out there. You can get overwhelmed with all the information that Wall Street gives you, and that's the reason. But we're going to cut through that noise, have an easy to read, understandable market overview. In other words, what happened, what matters, and what to expect next. Key news for the week. Stay on top of all the major headlines and upcoming catalysts that move the markets from economic reports to global events. I will throw in my experience to separate what I think the news that matters to help you navigate that week. Also, earnings are very big. And they come and go on earnings, what effect they have on the daily trends or the weekly trend. But I will show you techniques on earnings that matter and earnings to watch. The most important earnings, out of all the earnings to report, I will identify the ones that the market will be looking at for leadership. And that's very important to have that each week and why they matter to traders. I have something I created, it's called the Magic 5 stocks. I like to trade stocks that money's going into on stocks that are going up, or trade stocks that are going down on money that's going out of. I have techniques to determine that. You will learn that with the newsletter. Any unusual activity is worth watching, and it's for quick, actionable type trades using those tickers. Special opportunities. I put this block in there because every now and then you just find something that falls in your lap, and I will call your attention to that. things that I'm not even counting on for a unique setup, maybe an overlooked opportunity that will appear. I will include it in this newsletter each Monday afternoon. Now, what I did where I could communicate to you and even give you real-time information, I created a Telegram channel. Now, your last step after you sign up is join that Telegram channel, because I will have webinars. I'll have things that I think are important for you to see, maybe after we publish the newsletter on Monday. I'll be watching the market throughout the week. If something happens that matters to you that I told you on Monday, I'm going to bring it to your attention. And I can do that through the Telegram channel. The T-Buzz Weekly Trade Letter, I set it up. This is a beta edition, so I did something that everybody thought, what are you doing here? I said, well, I want a broad-based group of people that want to learn, want to educate themselves. This broad market update, the key news for the week, the key earnings, the weekly Magic 5 stocks, and special opportunities will all be concise on one page for you to get, keep by your computer throughout the week. Now here's the real kicker. I'm only charging right now $9.99 for 1 year access. I'll cut this off when I get my base built. Be first, don't delay. Sign up right now at dtitrader.com/weekly. If you got any questions, you can call 904-706-3532. Remember this, your last step, get in that Telegram channel. That's the big plus with this weekly trade letter. Folks, as I always say, see you on the flip side.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Edwin, thank you for picking up the sunrise. And if you have not already, for those of you who have not, go ahead and take up that offer on the T-Buzz Weekly Trade Letter. It's $10 for a full year of basically Tom's top stocks for the week, and basically it kind of just lays out what he's looking at for the week. So thank you all for joining, and we will see you on the flip side. Hey Ed, once you sign up for Sunrise, you'll get an email from One Click Trading, and it'll have a link where you can go and join the Sunrise Telegram. So, yep, yeah, no problem. Any other questions, or are we good to go, guys? Gals? Ed, it should. I feel like it should come pretty quick. Um, do you already have like a one-click trading account? Uh, I need to actually talk to them and figure that out. Like, I'm not sure how it works once you sign up for something and you already have a one-click account. How it, so I need to figure that out for myself. And I imagine you do because you already have a lot of programs already. But I figured it'd be, I thought it would be pretty like instant. But yeah, so the confirmation comes from one click and then it's you go and join the Telegram from there. But I'm gonna message you 1 second. Yeah, go ahead and uh, yeah, if I'm not sure how it works once you already have an account with one click, like I was saying, I need to actually talk to them and figure out how that works. But just go ahead and send me an email and I'll get you the link. Yeah, no problem. All right. Looks like we have no more questions coming through. Ed, I'll look for your email, but I'm gonna go ahead and end the room, and y'all have a great Saturday.